After a gloomy day yesterday, for reasons broad and yet unknown, I end-capped my night in a hyperventilating cry and some serious sinus flow. You know, the ugly kind. My eternal position is optimism, and joy is my portion regardless of seasons or circumstances. But I've learned that the existence of joy does not mean that dark moments and even dark days won't come. They certainly will. I'm of the belief that joy is a position of the heart and mind, while happiness is ever in variance in creating and even choosing. Up until the breaking moment, I'd gone about my day pretty robotically. You know when you fill a glass to the very brim, so full that all it would take is a little drop of water or the slightest nudge to have it spill out everywhere? So you carry this very full cup, and your body moves in very deliberate and stiff motions, with your complete focus dancing between the top of the glass and the space you're moving through, so as to not tip or to bump. Yeah, that's what I mean when I say I went about my day robotically. And I really didn't know why, but I felt very aware of it. I've mentioned before that I view emotions as tools, the most complex, deep, and broad tools I've ever encountered. And in the crafting of yourself, they're quite dynamic. But what do you do when you're abnormally experiencing weight and gloom without understanding? But also being completely aware that any engagement with anything emotional in any direction could trigger a brimming over. Yeah, I didn't know, so I chose to be robotic. Wake up, hydrate, stretch, coffee, begrudging meditation, if that's even a thing, daily task list, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture. I recall a conversation I had with my mom in 2010, 3 years after my older sister was killed. A story perhaps for another moment in time. But in the conversation, my mom was sharing with me that she was offered prescription drugs for coping with the season she was in, an unimaginable season as a mother having lost a child. She had every reason to take them, and in some cases, I truly believe people should. But her choice and her truth was that, quote, "The depth of this pain is unlike anything I've ever experienced, but if I don't know how to feel it and abide in Christ at this very low, then I won't be able to fully experience abiding in Him during life's greatest highs." End quote. My mother's choice to feel it all, and with such a specific perspective, marked me. She didn't want to cope, to numb out, because she believed the rest of her life would require a way to numb out if she didn't learn how to process through pain and loss, as well as healing and abundance. While my yesterday does not compare to her specific circumstance, the principle does. And please don't do what I almost did, and that's to miss the principle by comparing the scenarios. Joy is defined as a feeling of great pleasure or happiness. It's synonymous with delight, jubilation, and even triumph. This is my heart's posture forever. And even so in my moment last night where my present experience was the opposite. Felt the opposite. But why? The truth of being completely provided for and consistently expressing of what I'm genuinely grateful for sat in tension with my complete awareness of the pain and loss of others around me. And that had brought me to a place of self-inflicting guilt, making myself feel as if I wasn't allowed to acknowledge my own places of pain and loss as I compared them with others. The frustration of where I'm at in my career and my creating, the question marks that hang out with me, even the ones I don't like to acknowledge but join me each morning as religiously as my cup of coffee, the unknowns can feel shackling, restraining, and even suffocating. There's so much that is out of our control, and I've been diligent in my focus and formation of the things that I can control, but even in them exists a frenzy of unknowns. My husband David had given me the distance I requested all day. But as we were going to bed, his intentional care offered up listening ears. And I brimmed over, leading to the gentle tone of him instructing me to breathe slowly. The kindness and the pitch of his words led my shaky lips to escort each breath in and out as my nose was too full to be of any help. For an unspecified time, my breathing went in waves, a rush, and then calm, a crash, and then calm, till all was completely released. To my surprise, I didn't even have anything to say after that, and he had nothing to ask. I fell to sleep in the unknowns, even embracing them. They exist, but their existence doesn't permit them to dominate, unless I give them permission. And yesterday I gave them permission, and it was awful. And now I see that it didn't have to be. My grip was so tight, and until I let myself release, I had no room for focus or rest or laughter or even a smile. So here I am, once again, encouraging you to feel things, all things. May you be open enough to yourself about whatever place on the roller coaster you really are. May you hold each emotion long enough to know it, to acknowledge it, recognize it, and then release it. May you make room in your cup, room for more to flow in and out of you. May you find yourself around people who let you be and feel what you need to, and who remind you to breathe.